5 stocks just got hit hard in the same week, and one of them is a name almost every American shops at, down nearly 25% from its high. Everybody's calling it a screaming deal right now. I'm going to show you the math that says otherwise, and I'm going to show you which one of these 5 beaten down names is actually the one worth buying. Stick around, because the order I rank these in is going to surprise you. This is Ticker Hawk. Before we get into it, if you want calls like this every week on real stocks with real numbers, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now let's get into why the market just took a hatchet to some of the biggest names in America. Here's the backdrop you need to understand first, because it explains everything that's happening to these 5 stocks. Long-term yields have climbed back above 5% on the 30-year Treasury. Oil's ticking higher. There's fresh noise out of Washington about Iran. And all of that pressure is landing at the same time the S&P 500 is sitting around 20 times. Forward earnings, a level it barely touched between 2008 and 2019. When investors can suddenly earn over 5% parking money in a 30-year bond, they stop paying up for stocks the way they used to. That's the real story behind this pullback, not some sudden collapse in these businesses. So the question isn't which of these stocks fell the most. It's which ones are actually cheap once you account for where rates sit today. Let's start with the one everybody's arguing about right now. Walmart, ticker WMT, just had its worst week in years, down close to 10% in a single session, and nearly 25% off its 52-week high. That's a quarter of its market cap gone. Here's why. U.S. comparable. Sales grew just 2.6%, the slowest pace in over 6 years, down sharply from 4.1% the quarter before. On the surface, that sounds like a disaster, but look closer and the actual business is fine. Adjusted earnings came in at 81 cents against a 74-cent estimate, beating by 9%. Revenue hit $188 billion, about 1% ahead of expectations, up 6% year over year. E-commerce grew 23%. Advertising revenue jumped 38%. International sales were up 13%. This is not a company falling apart. It's a company that missed one number Wall Street was obsessed with. But here's where I have to push back on the obvious bargain crowd. A healthy business and a cheap stock are 2 completely different things. Walmart is still trading around 35 times forward earnings, well above its own 5-year average of 25. Run the actual cash flow numbers with an 8% discount rate, and you land on a fair value near $80 a share. The stock's sitting around 103. That's not upside. That's roughly 20% downside baked into today's price. Bump the discount rate to a more realistic 10% given where yields sit, and fair value drops to around $51. That's a brutal gap. My take on Walmart is simple. This is not a buy at today's price. The business is solid, but you're not getting paid to own it here. I'd want to see this closer to $90 before I'd even think about it. And honestly, under 80 is where it gets genuinely interesting. Now, quick gut check for you watching this. Are you the type who buys the first 10% drop, or do you wait for the number to actually make sense? Drop your answer in the comments, because the next stock on this list is going to test that exact instinct. Costco, ticker COST, is a completely different animal, and this is where a lot of investors get confused. The stock is down about 15% from its high, but year to date, it's still up over 8%. And operationally, this company is a machine. Net sales rose 10.6% last quarter. Comparable sales grew 8.8%. Digital sales jumped over 20%. Membership count per warehouse has climbed from around 110,000 a decade ago to 160,000 today. That's the real engine here, renewal economics, not just foot traffic. Costco generates about $11.2 million of operating income per U.S. warehouse. Compare that to Walmart's $5.3 million per store. That's more than double the efficiency, and it's why Costco commands a premium multiple and always has. Here's the catch. Costco trades at 45 times forward earnings right now. That's rich by almost any standard, but it's actually close to its own 5-year average, so it's not historically overpriced. It's just always been priced like a luxury brand. Run the discounted cash flow model, assuming free cash flow grows 14% a year for a decade, which is actually above the company's own 5-year growth rate, and you get a fair value of around $939. The stock trades right around there today. That means there is almost no margin of safety, maybe 1%. And when you push the discount rate up to 10%, fair value falls to $646, a 45% gap versus where the stock sits. My verdict on Costco, this is a hold, not a buy. It's one of the best run retailers in the country, but quality doesn't excuse you from paying too much. If this pulls back toward $800, I'm interested. Above $900, I'm on the sidelines. Now let's shift gears completely, because the next 3 names aren't about shoppers and memberships. They're about the biggest capital spending wave corporate America has seen in decades, artificial intelligence infrastructure. Combined AI spending from the biggest hyperscalers is set to jump from around $400 billion last year to nearly $1.1 trillion by 2027. That's the tailwind. But here's the risk nobody talks about enough. All that spending only matters if the hyperscalers can turn it into actual revenue. Something in the range of $2 trillion needs to show up eventually to justify it. So when we look at Microsoft, AMD, and Broadcom, we're not just asking if AI is real. We're asking how much of that future success is already priced into the stock today. Microsoft, ticker MSFT, is basically flat for the year and sitting about 13% below its high. Last quarter, revenue grew 18% to $90 billion. Net income hit almost $36 billion, a 40% margin. Their cloud business is the real story. Other cloud services grew 43%, actually faster than Amazon's AWS at 37%, though Google Cloud posted an eye-popping 82% off a smaller base. Microsoft, AWS, and Google Cloud are each adding roughly $18 to $19 billion in new revenue per quarter. That's staggering scale. Here's the part that trips people up. Free cash flow for Microsoft has actually dropped 73% because capital spending has climbed to 35% of revenue, nearly double their 5-year average of 17.5%. That scares people off. But look at the valuation underneath it. Microsoft trades at about 24 times forward earnings, which is actually 21% below its own 5-year average. On enterprise value to EBITDA, it's sitting 27% below its historical norm. Run the cash flow model with a 15% growth assumption and an 8% discount rate. And fair value comes out around $490 against a current price near $481. That's only a 2% cushion. So I wouldn't call this a screaming bargain. But it's the most reasonably priced of the AI names on this list, and Microsoft is my call as a genuine buy here, especially if it dips toward the $400 mark. Solid business, reasonable price, real cash flow eventually coming. If you're keeping score, that's 1 avoid, 1 hold, and 1 buy so far. But the next 2 stocks are where this gets really interesting, because one of them has already doubled this year, and the other one just got tangled up in a financing story that sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. AMD is up over 100% year to date, even after falling nearly 20% from its high and about 8% just this week. The growth numbers are legitimately incredible. Revenue jumped 50% year over year to $11.5 billion. Data center revenue more than doubled to $6.7 billion. Back in early 2021, that same data center number was just $610 million. This isn't a future story anymore. The money is showing up right now. 20% annual growth for the next full decade. An aggressive assumption by any measure, and you land on a fair value of about $468, almost exactly where the stock trades today. There's no margin of safety in that number. And if you use a 10% discount rate instead of 8, fair value drops to $313, a 50% premium baked into the current price. My call here is to avoid AMD at today's price, not because the business is bad, it's actually one of the best growth stories in tech, but because you're already paying for a perfect decade. I'd rather wait for a pullback under $400. Now here's the one I think most people are completely misreading, and it might be the best setup on this entire list. Broadcom, ticker AVGO, trades around $364, over 25% below its high. There's a headline going around about a proposed financing deal worth up to $100 billion involving outside capital partners, and a lot of investors are reading that as Broadcom taking on massive new debt. That's not quite accurate. From what's being reported, roughly $30 billion of that would come from outside junior debt providers, with Broadcom potentially guaranteeing somewhere in the $60 to $70 billion range on a senior tranche. It's a structure designed to accelerate chip demand. And yes, it adds counterparty and execution, risk worth watching. But it is not Broadcom strapping $100 billion straight onto its own balance sheet the way the headlines make it sound. Now look at the actual numbers underneath the noise. Gross margin sits at 76%, the strongest of any stock on this list. Operating margin around 44%. Forward revenue. Growth estimated near 50%. And here's the number that really matters. The forward P/EG ratio, which weighs valuation against growth, sits at just 0.66 compared to a sector median of 1.24. That tells you growth here is cheap relative to what you're paying. Run the discounted cash flow model with free cash flow starting at $48 billion and growing at 15%, and fair value comes out around $457, roughly 26% above the current price, with a genuine 20% margin of safety. Even when you push the discount rate up to 10% to stress test it, Broadcom still holds up better than every other name on this list. only about a 19% premium instead of 45 or 50% like we saw with Costco and AMD. Out of all 5 stocks, Broadcom is my top pick, hands down. It's the only one that survives a tougher, more demanding valuation test and still looks attractive. So here's how I'd rank all 5, straight up. Broadcom is my number 1 buy, the best combination of margins, growth, and actual valuation support. Microsoft is a solid second, not dirt cheap, but trading below its own historical multiples while growing revenue near 18 to 20%, and I'd add more on any dip toward 400. AMD is a hold at best for me, a phenomenal business that's simply priced for perfection right now. Wait for weakness under $400. Costco comes in 4th, a fantastic company that I'd rather own closer to $800 than at today's price. And Walmart rounds out the list at number 5, not because it's broken, but because the stock is priced well ahead of what the underlying cash flow actually supports, and I want to see it closer to $90 before I get interested. Here's the big lesson from this whole exercise, and it's the one thing I want you to walk away with. How far a stock has fallen tells you nothing about whether it's actually cheap. Walmart dropped more than Broadcom this week, but Broadcom is generating far more cash relative to what you're paying for that growth. When safe, boring yields are sitting above 5%, the discount rate you use isn't some academic detail, it's the entire difference between a real bargain and a stock that's still 20% overpriced. So tell me in the comments, which one of these 5 would you actually put new money into this week? And do you think a 10% required return is too harsh, or is that exactly what this market calls for right now? If this broke down one of these stocks in a way that actually helped you make a decision, do me a favor and share it with somebody who's been asking you about Walmart or AMD lately. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Rates aren't coming down overnight. And that means more of these gaps between hype and actual value are going to keep showing up across the market in the weeks ahead.